Hare Krishna Yashumati Priya Mataji. Please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you so much, Mataji, for joining the call. And yes, happy Ekadeshi, Mataji. Very good.
Hare Krishna, Anita Mataji, Dandavat Pranam. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. This is Vinita Gandharvika Devi Dasi from College Station, Texas.
Hare Krishna, Vinita Mataji. I expected actually Balavrinda to introduce herself. Okay, Hare Krishna. Welcome to the call, Mataji. Please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Mataji.
Yes, Mataji.
This is Kiran Goyal from Baltimore. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. All glories to assembled devotees. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Kiran Mataji. Please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you so much, Mataji, for joining the call. Hare Krishna.
Hare
Yes,
Krishna.
Devi Mataji. I think you're trying from last few minutes. Yeah.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
All glories
Yes,
to
Mataji.
Srila
Devi
Prabhupada.
Mataji, please go ahead.
This is Neetu from Baltimore.
Sorry, Mataji. What's your name? You said
Neetu.
Neetu. Yes. Okay. Hare Krishna, Neetu Mataji. Please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you so much, Mataji, for joining the call. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Anita Mataji, Dandavat pranams to you and all the assembled devotees. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. This is Uma from Portland, Oregon.
Hare Krishna, Uma Mataji. Please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you so much, Mataji, for joining the call. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna,
Hare
Mataji.
Krishna.
Prabhuji, you want to go ahead?
No, you can go ahead. I'll go next.
Okay. Hare Krishna, Mataji. Dandavat pranams. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Dandavat pranams to all the devotees here in this wonderful satsang. This is Sumi from India, Chennai, India.
Yes, Hare Krishna, Sumi Mataji. Please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you so much, Mataji, for joining the call. And please join on Thursday also, since we have the Bhagavad Gita recitation. Thank you so much for assigning for the recitation also. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Anita Ramaya Mataji. This is Sukakar Krishnadas from Chennai. Nice coming again. In the afternoon also I came. I feel like coming always to Bhakti Sangha. Thanks to everybody in Bhakti Sangha. All goes to Prabhupada.
Hare Krishna, Shukakar Krishna Prabhu. Yes, that is the magic of Bhakti Sangha we have. So once we enter, we cannot go out of it. So thank you so much for joining us always and giving us your association and encouraging us in all. Thank you so much, Prabhuji. Hare
Thank
Krishna.
you, Hare Krishna.
Yes.
Krishna Mataji, please accept my humble obeisances. Jai Shri Prabhupada. This is Preeti Vilasini Devi Dasi from Atlanta.
Hare Krishna, Preeti Vilasini Mataji. Please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you so much, Mataji, for joining the call. Welcome to the call, Mataji. Hare Krishna, Kirtida Sundari Mataji. I saw you were unmuting. So thank you so much for coming on the call and welcome to the call, Mataji. Please accept my humble obeisances. Hare Krishna. So dear devotees, I once again welcome all of you to this Bhakti Sangha Japa conference call. So today we will be moving on to our next session, that is Srimad Caitanya Bhagavata, which will be given by Her Grace Antaranga Tulasi Mataji. Before moving on to the call, I would like to read Prabhupada's quote of today. So today is 19th February. Prabhupada has written from New York on 1966. If you want to take a particular medicine, then we have to follow the particular direction mentioned on the label of the medicine or as directed by the physician. Similarly, the Bhagavad Gita also should be taken or accepted as it is, directed by the speaker himself. The speaker of the Bhagavad Gita is Lord Shri Krishna. Hare Krishna. Thank you so much, Prabhupada, for giving that. So, Hare Krishna, dear devotees, I once again welcome all of you to this Bhakti Sangha Japa conference call. So, today we have our wonderful speaker, who is Her Grace Antaranga Tulasi Mataji. Antaranga Tulasi Mataji ki jai. Hare Krishna. Welcome to the call, Mataji. So we are very fortunate to have you again on the call after a long time, I feel. So, and yes, we are looking forward for your very enthusiastic class. And we always relish your audio scripts which you sent every now and then for each and every acharyas. So thank you so much for that also. And dear devotees, so today our topic of Caitanya Bhagavata will be from Madhya Khanda, chapter 8, from 164 to 181. Hare Krishna Mataji, please go ahead.
Hare Krishna Mataji, please accept my humble obeisances. My humble obeisances to all the assembled Vaishnavas. Am I clearly audible?
Yes, Mataji.
Okay. So I'm, like Mati said, I'm very, very happy to be back after a very long time in this Bhakti Sangha Japa group. Though I, of course, follow all the lectures very keenly. And I'm very, very happy and fortunate to be able to present and serve all of you today. And without delay, I'll begin serving by chanting the Mangalacharan prayers, begging for the mercy of the Acharyas. Om Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjana-shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitamscha Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Shrimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharine Nirvisesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasavi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Ajanulambita-bhujau Kanakavadhatau Sankirtanaicapitarau Kamalayadakshau Vishwamharau Dvijavarau Yugadharmapalau Vande Jagat Priyakarau Karunavatarau Jaya Jaya Shri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda Jaya Advaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Nama Vishnu Padaya Krishna Vishaya Bhutale Srimate Jaya Prabhupada Swami Nani Nama Acharya Padaya Pitaya Kripa Pradaya Ne Gaura Katha Dhammadaya Nagara Hare Krishna. So as Mataji said, we are reading from the most auspicious book, Caitanya Bhagavat, composed by Srila Vrindavan Das Thakur, Madhya Leela, chapter 8. Madhya Leela is a very, very beautiful portion of Caitanya Bhagavat. Caitanya Bhagavat is, Vrindavan Das Thakur wrote this book which describes the life of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Especially it is known for the descriptions of the Lord's pastime in Navadvip, when he was a Grihastha, when he was a young boy. And Chaitanya Charitamrita, written by Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami, is the book that describes the life of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Especially it focuses on his pastime after taking sannyas in Nilachal Dham in Puri. So Vrindavan Das Thakur Chaitanya Bhagavat, this Madhya Leela, especially Madhya Khanda, is so special because it describes the most relishable pastimes that happened in Navadvip, which is the inauguration of the Sankirtan movement by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and his wonderful dancing, his wonderful kirtan and his wonderful youthful pastimes with all his devotees. So very fortunate read from Madhya Khanda. The Madhya Khanda begins with the Mahaprabhu beginning to reveal himself as a devotee. He returns back from Gaya, having taken initiation from Ishwarapuri, and he begins to manifest the symptoms of a great devotee. And Srivas Thakur and all the other devotees are very, very happy looking at this change in Sri Gaur Sundar. And then all his pastimes and Navadvip are discussed. And today in this particular chapter of 8 of Madhya Khanda, it is describing the most beautiful pastime of the Lord's inaugurating the Sankirtan movement in the house of Srivas Thakur. This chapter 8 begins with a description of Nityananda Prabhu's glories. So when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is going to start the Sankirtan movement, slowly this news reaches all the devotees who are in different parts of the world. And They all assemble before Mahaprabhu is going to start the Sankirtan pastime. They all assemble, and then Mahaprabhu starts the Sankirtan. So when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu started the Sankirtan pastime in the house of Shrivas, all his dear associates who he wanted them to be there with him were all present. Like Nityananda Prabhu was born in Ekachakra Dham, which was far away from Navadvip, and then he traveled all over India. But when he came to know it is now time for Gaursundar to start Sankirtan pastime, he came to Navadvip. Like that Pundrik Vidyanidhi, like there's so many devotees, Mukunda, Govinda Ghosh, they were all in different parts and they all assembled at Navadvipa when Mahaprabhu was going to begin the Sankirtan pastimes. So therefore, in this chapter, we see it begins with the description of Nityananda Prabhu's glories. You have already heard from the previous speakers of how Nityananda Prabhu was residing. When he came to Navadvip, he didn't have a house because he was not a Navadvip Vasi. Advaita Acharya had a home in Navadvip. Srivas Thakur had a house in Navadvip. Gadadhar Pandit had a house in Navadvip. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu had his yoga pit, Sachi Angan, the house of Sachi Mata. Nityananda Prabhu was a traveling mendicant. So he resided in the house of Srivas Thakur. He was just like Srivas Thakur and Malini Devi's son. And this 8th chapter begins with the description of those pastimes of Nityananda Prabhu in the mood of a child in the house of Srivas Thakur. Very beautiful pastimes that not only describe the not only makes us relish Nityananda Prabhu's character, but also establishes the greatness of Srivas Thakur's determination and Srivas Thakur's faith in Sri Gauranga and Nityananda. So that pastime you have all heard for the past few days, how Nityananda Prabhu's wonderful pastime with Srivas Thakur and his wife Malini Devi. And then there is description of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's ecstatic kirtan. So suddenly one night he started kirtan, and suddenly one day Chaitanya Mahaprabhu tells all the devotees in Srivas Thakur's home that why don't we do kirtan at night also? Why are we just doing kirtan in the daytime and the night time? Why are we spending by sleeping? We are wasting our time. So let's start night kirtan also. And all the devotees were very happy hearing this proposal, and they also said, yes, we are wasting our night. Why should we waste our night time? So let's do kirtan. Who would not want to remain in the association of Gausundar? So in this way, the nocturnal kirtans at the house of Srivas Thakur began. So therefore, this chapter is known as Manifestation of the Opulences. That is the title of this chapter, chapter 8. So what is this manifestation of opulence that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is performing? Now each incarnation of the Lord each form of the Lord has a particular type of opulence. Like for example, what is the opulence of Krishna in his form, the Supreme Personality of Godhead Krishna? Would anyone like to?
Yes, full 6 opulence, Mataji. All 6
Yes, but in
opulences.
his pastimes, what was speciality that he showed, that he manifested? The opulence that he manifested.
Beauty.
Is it fame?
Beauty,
Fame?
Mataji.
Okay.
Venu Madhuri, Leela Madhuri.
Yes. So sweetness, madhurya, that was his opulence. With something, I'm asking about something unique to these incarnations of the Lord, to these forms of the Lord. Like when Krishna appeared, his uniqueness was he brought the love of Braja out. He showed his wonderful loving reciprocation in the Madhurya Rasa, especially with the gopis. These things were never before revealed in any other incarnation. The beauty of the Lord was revealed in other incarnations. The Virya Rasa, the chivalrous nature of the Lord was revealed in another incarnation. Like this, different incarnations resemble different opulence of the Lord. And as Mati said clearly, Krishna, he manifested the 6 opulences in full, of course. But uniqueness of Krishna's pastime was his wonderful sweet pastimes in Vrindavan, which was never before seen by anyone. That was something special that Krishna revealed. So we see especially the crest jewel of all these pastimes of Krishna is the Ras Leela, which happened in Vrindavan with the highest devotees, the gopis. So Madhurya Rasa was something unique in Krishna. It is the opulence of Krishna avatar. And also another opulence of Lord Krishna was him protecting his devotees. He always protected the Vrajavasis from all kind of trouble. He protected the Pandavas from all kind of troubles. He protected his own Yadu dynasty in Dwaraka. And for the sake of protecting them and for exchanging their love, to show his Bhakta Vatsalata nature, to show his nature of how much he loves the devotee, for showing that, for pleasing the devotees, he did so many pastimes, like pleasing his queens in Dwaraka, the way he, for Satyabhama, he went and fought and brought the Parijata flower, the Parijata tree, or the way for his son, for his grandson Aniruddha, he fought with Lord Shiva himself and Banasura and brought Aniruddha and Usha back. So, like that, for pleasing his devotees who had so much love for him, the Lord performed so many pastimes. So, therefore, Krishna is known as Leela Purushottam. He is known for his wonderful sweet pastimes. All his pastimes are very beautiful, and he is known as Leela Purushottam. Then there is another important person whose pastimes are very much relished. That is the pastimes of Lord Sri Ram. And Lord Ram, what was his uniqueness? What was his opulence?
Maryada Purusha?
Maryada Purushottam. What is the meaning of what is the meaning of Maryada Purushottam?
He's always to be respected. And he
Always
gives
be respected.
respect.
He gives respect and he followed
Ekapatni Vrata. Ekapatni Vrata.
Ekapatni Vrata. He was the most dutiful son. In whatever role he played in his life, in his pastimes, he was always perfect and very dutiful. Whether it be husband, he was Ekapatni Vrata and he was the perfect husband. He was the most dutiful husband. As the son of Dasharatha, he was the most dutiful son. And for according to Dharma, he performed properly every activity. As a father, as the king of Ayodhya. So whatever pastimes Lord Ram did, he was always perfect according to dharmic rules. He wanted to show, that was the purpose of Lord Ram's incarnation, to show how a person should be, how a king should be, how a husband should be, how a son should be, to show exemplarily Lord Ram. That was one of his opulence. So he is called Maryada Purushottam. He is the perfect, dutiful incarnation. Lord Krishna's all activities cannot be imitated. Lord Krishna performed Leela Purushottam. His pastimes are just to be relished. His pastimes are just to be heard and narrated and relished. Whereas Lord Ram's pastimes, they are to be followed. Lord Ram's pastimes are set example for the whole generation to come. Even today, people, they want Ram Rajya. A kingdom which was like Lord Ram kingdom. The leader should be like Lord Ram. Everybody wants that their son should be like Lord Ram, their husband should be like Lord Ram. So in this way, Lord Ram, he was the most dutiful and most perfect person. So like that, in each incarnation, the Lord has one particular opulence. And in this chapter, we are discussing the opulence of Sri Gauranga Mahaprabhu. And what was the opulence of Sri Gaurhari? He is known as Prema Purushottam. His opulence is his manifestation of love. And what is the manifestation of love? What kind of love is he manifesting? Whose love is he manifesting?
Radharani's love
Srimati
for Sri
Radharani.
Krishna.
For Sri Krishna. Day before yesterday, Japadaswami Guru Maharaj, he was present in ISKCON Delhi. And he was giving the Sunday Love Feast class in Delhi, and he was narrating a pastime. He said that once Rukmini Devi was serving Krishna, and she told Krishna one thing. She said, Krishna, there is something, Shri Vishnu, I want to share with you. What is it? Now, there is one thing that you do not know. So Krishna said, what is it that I do not know? So then Rukmini said that there is one thing which I know, which Srimati Radharani knows, but you do not know. So Krishna said that, like, I am Bhagavan, I know everything. I'm one of my opulences, I'm all knowledge. There's nothing that I do not know. I am in the heart of every soul. So practically what everyone thinks, even before they can think, I know what they're going to think. I know what is going to happen to everyone. What is past, what is present, what is future, I know. And how can you say that I do not know something and you and Srimati Radharani know? What is this? It was very shocking and new for Krishna. So then Rukmani Devi said that yes, you know everything, but you do not know this one thing. What is that? You do not know how much your devotees love you, and you don't know how your devotees love you. And that only Srimati Radharani and myself who are who love you the most, we know how much devotees love you and how devotees love you. So then Lord Krishna said, this cannot be possible. There should nothing be that I do not know. So therefore, Krishna, he decided that, okay, if this is something that I do not know, then I must know it. So therefore, he came as Gauranga. Came in the mood of Srimati Radharani to know the love that the devotees have for him and how the devotees love him. So it is, that is the speciality of Sri Gauranga Mahaprabhu's incarnation. And therefore, that is his opulence. His opulence is his love that he has for Krishna. And therefore, this chapter is entitled The Manifestation of the Lord's Opulence. So, which means it is the manifestation of that love which Srimati Radharani and her follower devotees have for Krishna. That love, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is finally manifesting in full here. And therefore, this chapter is known as Manifestation of the Opulences. And what was the when we see another uniqueness of Gauranga Mahaprabhu's avatar is that both Lord Sri Ram, Lord Krishna, and any other incarnation, when they appear, they mostly come to annihilate the asuras or to relieve the burden of the earth and to protect the devotees. But when we see Gauranga Mahaprabhu, he did not come to annihilate any demon. He did not come to kill anyone. He did not come in that mood. Rather, he only came to give love to the whole world. He came only to inundate the whole world in Krishna Prem. There is this, of course, the song is describing Nityananda Prabhu. But for Gaur Nitai, both Nityananda Prabhu, he brought a flood. The song is by Lochandas Thakur. He says that Nitai Gunamani Amar Nitai Gunamani Aniya Premera Bonna Bhashayila Avani. So Nitai Gunamani Amar. Nitai is my most dear jewel. So that Nitai, he has brought a flood. Aniya Premera Bonna Bhashayila Avani. And his flood has inundated the whole earthly planet. And then he says that so this was Mahaprabhu's mood, why he appeared. He did not come to annihilate anybody, or he just came to give this love of Godhead, which is something very rare, which is available only in Goloka Vrindavan, with the highest devotee Srimati Radharani. In Chaitanya Charitamrita Adilila, we read the sections where describes the confidential reason for Krishna's for Gauranga Mahaprabhu's appearance. That chapter describes how great and who is Srimati Radharani. When we read that chapter, we know that Radharani is not a simple demigoddess or goddess who is so easy. She is such a special person. She is Mahabhava Swarupini Radha Thakurani, the personification of the highest love of Godhead. That is Srimati Radharani's person. She is a personification of love. So therefore, that Srimati Radharani's love, he has come to give to everyone and inundate the whole world in that love. So that is the opulence of Gauranga Mahaprabhu, and that is being inaugurated in this chapter. Therefore, there is a verse in Srimad Bhagavatam that describes Nrsingadev in Canto 7. Satyam vidhatum nijavritya bhashitam vyaptim cha bhutesh akilesh chatmanaha adrishyatam atyadbhuta rupa mudvahan. That Lord Nrsingadev's form when he appeared, in the middle of the assembly hall from the pillar when he appears. That time Shukadev Goswami, Narad Muni says this verse at that time, says Adrishyatam Atyadbhuta Rupamudvahan. This form that the Lord had manifested at that time in the assembly hall was Adrishyatam, was never before seen, and Ati Adbhuta. It was the most wonderful form. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's incarnation's purpose was like that. The purpose of the Lord's incarnation to give love of Godhead, or we see the different reasons mentioned in Chaitanya Charitamrita, the internal and external reasons. All these purposes of the Lord's incarnation is something Adrishyatam and Atyadbhuta. Never before has an incarnation come for only this purpose, and never before has an incarnation come with such a wonderful purpose of delivering the whole world, giving love of Godhead that is very rarely attained to one and all, without discriminating of caste, creed, or without looking for any qualification. So that is the opulence of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, that he not only brought something very special and very rare, but he came and gave that to one and all, not discriminating based on any qualification. Anyone, he was ready to give Krishna Prem. So that opulence is what is being described in this chapter. So I was told to read from 164th verse to 181st verse. And so this particular section of verse, what does it discuss about? It discusses about the dancing of Shri Vishwambhar. Dancing of Vishwambhar in the house of Srivas Thakur during one of the night kirtans. So which night was that? Does anyone remember? Which day was this kirtan happening that we are discussing now? It is being discussed in the previous verses that you have already read, around verse 135 onwards. So this particular kirtan that we are discussing today, so today we are going to read from 164 verse, we are going to read. It describes the beauty of the Lord's dancing in the kirtan. So which day's kirtan was this? This was on the day of Shri Harivasara. So it was one Ekadashi day in the house of Srivas Thakur, and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is beginning to dance as the different devotees perform kirtan. And this kirtan on this day began before sunrise. So they started kirtan from before sunrise, and the kirtan is going on throughout the night also. And then Vrindavan Das Thakur says in verse 145 that Shunaho Challisha Pado Prabhura Kirtana Je Vikare Nache Prabhu Jagata Jivana. Now hear the next 40 verses which describe how the Lord, who is the life and soul of the entire universe, danced in ecstasy during Kirtan. So from verse 145, next 40 verses, which means up to 185 or 186, this describes the dancing of the Lord only. That too on this one particular day of Ekadashi during the Kirtan. What all the Lord did. And this is all happening in the house of Srivas Thakur. So this chapter, in fact, the entire Madhya Khanda, it not only describes Mahaprabhu's and his associates' very wonderful manifestation of love of God, how the devotees experience the highest ecstasy, the different glories of different devotees of Navadvip. This is all to a large extent described, and equally another half of, you can say almost half, describes the glories of Srivas Thakur and Srivas Angan. Because practically all the pastimes, they are happening in Srivas Angan. And therefore, the house of Srivas Thakur in Navadvip Dham is one of the most special places where this whole Sankirtan movement began, and where Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, 24 years Mahaprabhu performed pastime in Navadvip. And of these 24 years, practically most of the days, he performed his kirtan, he performed his dancing, he performed his most confidential pastime in this house of Srivas Thakur. So in that most holy place of Srivas Thakur's home, on a day of Ekadashi, Kirtan has started at sunrise and the devotees are chanting. And Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is dancing. And that is where we are at verse 164, where Mahaprabhu is dancing. And this verse begins with Advaita Acharya speaking. So we'll read from verse 164. Acharya Goshai bole are are chora bhangilo shakala tora bhuri bhari bhuri mora. Advaita Prabhu addressed Gaur Sundar as Chora. Acharya Goshai said, "My dear thief, we have broken into your hidden treasury." So, purport by Siddhanta Thakur. Advaita Prabhu addressed Gaur Sundar as Chora or thief and said, "Now we understand your glories." The phrase Bhari Bhuri means opulence, gravity, reverence, self-esteem, glories, or pride. So, Acharya Goshai means Advaita Acharya. He is addressing Chaitanya Mahaprabhu as my dear thief. My dear thief, what have we done? We have broken into your hidden treasury now. So just giving just the two verses before what we're discussing is that Mahaprabhu, he would try to catch everyone's lotus feet and take the dust. And the Vaishnavas would run away out of fear. And sometimes Nityananda Prabhu would lock Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and show Mahaprabhu's lotus feet to everyone, so that everyone can come and take dust from Mahaprabhu's lotus feet. So there is one such chance when in verse 162 we can see that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's leg was lifted and everyone could take the dust. So that time Advaita Acharya is especially one person who never used to get Mahaprabhu's dust from his lotus feet, because Advaita Acharya was nearly 25 years elder to Mahaprabhu. And of course, we know that Advaita Acharya was the one who caused Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to appear. He was the one who loudly called and brought him here. So therefore, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, because of the age difference and because of the great reverence he had for Advaita Acharya, the senior most and most qualified Vaishnava at that time, he was the most respected Vaishnava. So therefore, Vishwambhar used to always offer respect at lotus feet of Advaita Acharya. And Advaita Acharya, if he tried to take the dust from Gauranga's feet, Mahaprabhu would never accept. So on this chance, Advaita Acharya, he got the chance of taking the dust from the Lord's lotus feet. Therefore, he is saying, my dear thief, we have broken into hidden treasury now. This hidden treasury is the Lord's dust from his lotus feet, which he was hiding and was never giving anyone. So now Advaita Acharya got a chance and he's looting from the treasury that they have broken into. 165. Mahanande Vishwambhara Goda Godi Jai Charidike Bhakta Gana Krishna Guna Gai. Vishwambhar rolled on the ground in ecstasy as all the devotees sang the glories of Krishna on all sides. So who are all the devotees singing here on all the sides? So during the Kirtan in Srivas Thakur's home, only selected devotees were allowed, only whom the Lord knew and whom the Lord accepted, and the door would be locked. So therefore, in the previous verses, which you have already discussed, does anyone remember what were the different groups of devotees singing and who were leading the Kirtan? Okay. So there were three groups mentioned in Chaitanya Bhagavat in this pastime when performing Kirtan. There was one group which was headed by Srivas Thakur. There was another group where the lead singer was Sri Mukunda, and the third group was led by Govinda Ghosh. So these three people were the lead singers, and all the devotees present, others would sing along with them. So these three devotees, they are leading this Kirtan, and all the devotees are singing the glories of Krishna, and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is rolling on the ground in ecstasy, in great happiness. So we see these wonderful devotees, Srivas Thakur, we know, resident of Navadvipa. Mukunda Datta, he is a resident of Sri Khanda, which is near to Katwa, the place where Mahaprabhu took sannyas. It is about 2 hours from Sridham Mayapur. So there, Mukunda Datta was a royal physician, and he he happened to be in Navadvip during Mahaprabhu's youth pastimes, and he would participate in the kirtan. Then, and he was one of the wonderful singers also. And then the third group was led by Govinda Ghosh, who is one of the three Ghosh brothers. There was Vasudev Ghosh, Madhava Ghosh, and Govinda Ghosh, three Ghosh brothers. Very famous. All the three were wonderful singers. Their voice were as sweet as Gandharvas. Mahaprabhu loved their singing greatly. And these three personalities had three wonderful pastimes with Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And they all later settled in three different parts of the Gaura Mandala. So this is Govinda Ghosh. So these three great personalities were leading the kirtan. At that time, how was Mahaprabhu's dance? Jakana Uddhanda nache Prabhu Vishwambar Prithvi Kampita hoye sabe paye dar. When Lord Vishwambar danced madly, the earth shook and everyone became frightened. Pakhanava madhura nache Vishwambhara Jeno dekhi nandera nandana natavara. Sometimes Vishwambar danced so sweetly, it resembled the enchanting dance of Nanda's son. So Mahaprabhu danced both the way. One time he was dancing madly so much that the earth began to shake. And when the earth began to shake, the devotees kind of became a little bit scared. And the same, at the very next moment, the Lord's dancing changed. And he danced very sweetly. And that dance resembled the dance of Sri Krishna, the son of Nanda Maharaj. So therefore, not only in this particular two verses, we see that there are two ways of the Lord's dancing, which are very different from each other. One is in which the devotees get scared, and one is so sweet in which the devotees get enchanted. And similarly, as we go ahead, we will read so many things which the Lord does, which looks very inconceivable, which looks very different. That no matter how much in ecstasy can a person climb on somebody's shoulder, climb on somebody's neck, like that you will find descriptions of the Lord. So there was one beautiful purport in Chaitanya Charitamrita, which I wanted to share with all of you. It is in Adi Leela, chapter 17, text 304. So therefore, we know the statement that Prabhupada has mentioned, which is also a statement from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 6, that all contradictions reconcile in the absolute truth. Because the Lord is absolute, all contradictions can reconcile in Him. So there is this purport. It's a very beautiful purport in Chaitanya Charitamrita. Prabhupada says, He, that is the Supreme Lord, has energy that is inconceivable, which makes impossible possible. Such contradictions are difficult to understand unless the devotees strictly follow the Vaishnava philosophy under the Goswamis. So therefore, when we come across, especially in Chaitanya Bhagavat, we find so many sections where when there is manifestation of the Lord's ecstasy, when there is manifestation of the Lord's devotees' ecstasy, like for example, the meeting of Chaitanya and Nityananda, the meeting of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Pundrik Vidyanidhi. So many different descriptions are there. Haridas Thakur, Nityananda Prabhu going on preaching. So when we read these, sometimes the descriptions that are found there look so they may look exaggerated for us sometimes, or they may look like this is so different. How can this be possible? It is not. We have never seen anything like this before. Even if you see something, the Lord is performing pastimes like a human being, there should be something that is, like we see the tears of the Lord when Mahaprabhu is in ecstasy, it comes like spray, and it's spraying out at everyone and wetting everyone. So that is all, sometimes it looks so inconceivable. So therefore, Prabhupada says that such contradictions are difficult to understand unless the devotee strictly follows the Vaishnava philosophy under the 6 Goswamis. So therefore, we should take shelter of the Vaishnavas to understand the inconceivable achintya potency of the Supreme Lord. And Prabhupada says, therefore, Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami ends all the chapter with the verse, Rupa Raghunatha Pade Jara Ash Chaitanya Charitamrita Kahe Krishnadas. So he says, I'm reciting this pastimes of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, the Chaitanya Charitamrita, but the shelter of, I always seek the shelter of Rupa and Raghunath Das Goswami. Similarly, we find Vrindavan Das Thakur. At the end of every chapter, to whom does he offer his obeisances? You're all reading Chaitanya Bhagavad from Adilila, you have come to Madhya. Every chapter of Chaitanya Bhagavat, it ends with prayers at whose lotus feet? Every chapter of Chaitanya Bhagavat, it ends with offering obeisances and seeking the mercy of Sri Nityananda Prabhu, who is representing this the Adi Guru, or everyone's spiritual master. Always he ends with seeking. He not only does he end every chapter with seeking the blessings of Nityananda Prabhu, but also in particular Chaitanya Bhagavat, if we see more than half, if it describes mainly Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's pastime, it also equally glorifies Nityananda Prabhu's transcendental pastimes also. So therefore, we always need to take shelter of the spiritual master and the devotees to understand the inconceivable pastimes of the Lord. Without their mercy, unless one, like Prabhupada says, strictly follow the Vaishnava philosophy under the Goswamis. Unless we strictly follow the Vaishnava philosophy under the guidance of these personalities, it will be not easy for us to accept these kind of wonderful descriptions of the Lord's transcendental pastimes. Text 169, no, 168. Kakhunova kore koti simher hunkar karna raksha hetu shave anugraha tar. Sometimes his roaring resembled that of millions of lions, yet by his mercy everyone's ears were saved from harm. Although the sound of the Lord's roaring like a million lions was capable of breaking their living entities' eardrums, he mercifully protected their weak eardrums. So therefore, when I was reading this verse, I was just remembering that when roaring million that resembles million of lions, I was remembering in Canto 7, there is this description of Narsimhadev's roaring. And Narsimhadev's roaring is so tumultuous that the Gajas, the elephants who hold the universe on the different sides, those elephants, all the elephants, they start crying out when they hear the sound of Narsimhadev's roaring. So Lochandas Thakur has written a song, Avatara Sara Gaura Avatara. That Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he is the essence of all incarnations. Avatara Sara Gaura Avatar. This is another thing we find in the pastimes of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, that Gauranga Mahaprabhu manifests the symptoms, he manifests the qualities of all other incarnations. Therefore, he is the essence of all incarnations. Yeah, there's another song, Parama Karuna Pahudui Jana Nitai Gaurachandra Saba Avatara Sara Shiromani. Of all incarnations, these two are the topmost. They are the first jewels of all incarnations. And Avatara Sara, he is the essence of all incarnations. Like we find when he's roaring, it resembles that of millions of lions. It's resembling Narsimhadev's quality of roaring like a lion. So how he roared, like that Gauranga Mahaprabhu is roaring here. We also saw that he was dancing, and when he danced very sweetly and chantingly, he looked just like the son of Nanda. So he's also manifesting the qualities of Krishna. In this chapter 8, just a few verses before, you have all seen how Lord Gaura Sundar, he manifested the form of Lord Shiva. There was one Shiva Bhakta who was coming on the road begging alms and singing the glories of Lord Shiva, and he was so from the heart, he was truly glorifying Lord Shiva, and Mahaprabhu was so pleased with his devotion for Lord Shiva that the Lord manifested the form of Lord Shiva in the roads of Navadvip. Suddenly matted locks of hair appeared on his head and he danced like Lord Shiva. So so Gauranga Mahaprabhu has shown the form of Lord Shiva also. And we also, of course, find how he shows the form of Varahadev, how he shows the form of Lord Ram. So Gauranga Mahaprabhu, if we read through his pastimes, he manifests the qualities of all the different incarnations. And similarly, his abode, this Navadvip Dham, is also Bhaktivinoda Thakur says in Navadvip Dham Mahatmya. This Navadvip Dham, because it is the abode of Sri Gauranga Mahaprabhu, it is the crystal of all holy places. And all the holy places in this world, wherever they're situated, they all have a place in Navadvip. Ayodhya, Kashi, Haridwar, Ujjain, Vrindavan, Srirangam, all of them, they have some place in Navadvip Dham. So they are all present here, and Navadvip Dham is a crystal of all holy places. And Sri Gauranga Mahaprabhu's form, his avatar, is the essence of all incarnations. And you can see that how the Lord, he is also showing his love for the devotees. He is roaring like millions of lions, but still he is ensuring that none of the devotees' ear are having any trouble. Because it's so loud, they should not have any trouble. So he's protecting their eardrums also. This quality of the Lord of Gauranga Mahaprabhu, we see so many times how he's especially very caring to his devotees. He ensures that they don't undergo any trouble at any time. He wants all of them to be well taken care of. He himself, when in Navadvip also, when he was performing Grahastha pastimes, how so nicely he took care of the devotees. When they would come to their house, how Vishnu Priya, Lakshmi Priya Devi would cook for them, how Sachimata would cook for them. You have already seen how Nityananda Prabhu was served prasadam. This particular chapter in the beginning, it discusses how Nityananda Prabhu was invited to have prasadam at the house of Vishwambhar, and how Shachimata and Vishwambhar both served him very nicely. And also when Mahaprabhu took sannyas and went to Nilachal, and so many devotees from Gauramandala, from Navadvip, from Shantipur, from Srikhanda, from Kulinagram, different parts of Bengal would go particularly to Puri just to see Mahaprabhu and spend time with Mahaprabhu. There with great detail and great attention, Mahaprabhu would personally ensure that all of them are getting prasadam, they're getting place to stay, they're very comfortable. He would talk to them. So Mahaprabhu always, he was very particular about the comfort of the devotees. Are they all taken care nicely? Even in his wonderful ecstatic manifestations where he is completely in great ecstasy, still he is so sensitive that by my roaring, the devotees' eardrum should not have any problem. He is ensuring, and he mercifully protected their weak eardrums. 169. পৃথিবীর আলগ হইয়া ক্ষণে যায়, কেহ বা দেখায়, কেহ দেখিতে না পায়. Sometimes when he walked above the ground. Some persons saw this while others could not. Purport: the loud roaring of the Lord sometimes cracked the earth. Sometimes he walked above the ground, in other words, without touching the ground. Some devotees saw this while others could not. Text 170. Bhava vishe pakalalo chane jare chai, mahatras paya shei hashiya palai. In his ecstasy, whoever the Lord looked at with his red eyes would first become frightened and then run away laughing. Bhava vishe chanchala hoya Vishwambhar, nache na vihvala hoya nahi parapar. Vishwambhar became agitated in ecstasy and danced, forgetful of himself and others. Bhava vishe ekabar dhare jaro pai, aro baro puna tar uthaye mathai. In ecstasy, he would catch the feet of someone and then climb on his head. Sometimes the Lord touched the feet of a devotee, and sometimes he climbed on that devotee's head. Kshane jara gala dhari karaya krandan, kshane ke tahara kandhe kare arohan. Sometimes he would cry while embracing someone around their neck, and the next moment he would climb on his shoulders. क्षणे होय बाल्य भावे परम चंचल, मुखे वाद्य बाय जन छायालो शकल. Sometimes he would become extremely restless in the mood of a child and make various childish noises in his mouth. Purport. Sometimes the Lord made various noises with his mouth like a most restless child. The word baya, a shortened form of bajaya, means to play an instrument. The word chaoyala means child, boy, or inexperienced. When I was reading this section, I was just thinking how fortunate were those devotees who were present in the kirtan, that the Lord would climb on their head, place his lotus feet on their body and on their head, and he would embrace and cry on them, and he would climb on their shoulders. So, how fortunate were the devotees who could witness these pastimes and who were fortunate to receive the lotus feet of the Lord on their body. And seeing these wonderful manifestations of the Lord's mood as a child. Charana nachaye kshane khala khala hashe jano gati chale kshane balaka aveshe. Sometimes he shook his feet and laughed exuberantly. Sometimes he crawled on his knees like a small child. Purport. The phrase Janu Gati Chala refers to crawling about on one's knees. Janu Gati means moving with the knees or crawling. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was so tall, he was more than 6 feet, and he had his hands would go longer up to his knees. So that beautiful form, molten gold complexion with beautiful curling hair that is reaching his shoulders, and dark beautiful eyes, with that body, you can imagine Gaur Sundar crawling like a child. So these wonderful pastimes of the Lord were witnessed in the house of Srivas Thakur by these wonderful devotees. Kshane kshane hoy bhava tribhanga sundar prahare kashay mata thake vishwambar. Sometimes Vishwambhar became absorbed in the mood of Krishna. In his beautiful threefold bending form, he remained in that state for 3 hours. Kshane dhyana kari kare muralira chanda sakshato dekhiya jana vrindavana chandra. Sometimes he would become absorbed in meditation and play a flute. Then he appeared exactly like Krishna, the moonlight lord of Vrindavan. So reading this section, when you read, it's very similar to how the gopis of Vrindavan in Krishna book, we find the description that when Krishna left Vrindavan, the gopis were in separation, and they in their separation from Krishna, they're having so much love and in separation from Krishna that almost like mad ladies, they were enacting the pastimes of the Lord. In that section, we find similar description of how they would climb on each other's shoulder or climb on each other's head and display the pastimes of Krishna. They would say, I am Krishna, you are Putana, you are Kaliya, and in this way they would enact the pastimes of the Lord. Similarly, here Vishwambhar, in the mood of Krishna, he is standing like Krishna, he is playing flute, and he appeared just like Krishna. The gopis also similarly, they used to perform the pastimes of the Lord, and that would help in subsiding the separation they're feeling from the Supreme Lord. So all that Mahaprabhu is manifesting, this love, these ecstatic symptoms, these are all the ecstatic symptoms of Srimati Radharani and the gopis. This thing which was known only to the residents of Vrindavan, that most great love, that most great ecstatic symptom, the Lord is now manifesting in Kali Yuga in the house of Srivas for all the devotees to see. And by the mercy of great Vaishnavas like Vrindavan Das Thakur, we are able to get access to all these wonderful transcendental nectar that is most confidential. Bahya paye dasya bhave karaya krandan dante trina kari chahe charana sevan. On regaining his external consciousness, he would cry in the mood of a servant. He would hold straw between his teeth and beg for service to the Lord's lotus feet. So when he came to external consciousness, he came back to the mood of like how a devotee thinks, in the mood of a servant. And holding a straw between his teeth is begging for the service of the Lord's lotus feet. So some things when Mahaprabhu shows, it is exemplary for us to follow. This thing of holding straw between one's teeth is to indicate one's humility, to consider oneself equal to animals who like cows or goats who eat straw. So therefore, that is symbolically representing that we consider ourselves as low as those animals, and with that humility, we beg for the Lord for service. So this is how, in this kind of a mood, we should cry for when we chant the holy name. And because chanting the holy name, the Hare Krishna Mahamantra itself means begging the Lord and his internal energy for engaging us in their service. So when we chant, this is the mood we should have. We should cry in the mood of a servant and beg for the service at the Lord's lotus feet. Text 179. Chakrakriti hoy kshane prahare ka fire आपन चरण गिया लागे निज शिरे. Sometimes he whirled in a circle for 3 hours, and sometimes he danced in such a way that his feet touched his head. So what an inconceivable and beautiful way of dancing. Gauranga Mahaprabhu is called Gaura Nataraj. He is the most expert dancer. Krishna himself is Natavara. And when there is competition of dance between Krishna and Srimati Radharani, they both, you cannot say who is the winner. One dances well, the other dances even more beautifully, and their dance keeps increasing. And we can imagine that Gauranga Mahaprabhu is an incarnation who is Krishna and Srimati Radharani together. Radha and Madhava have come together and appeared as Sri Mayapur Chandra. And that Mayapur Chandra, he is dancing. So the two best dancers of the world, Sri Madhava and Srimati Radharani, both are dancing together in the form of Gauranga. So therefore he is called Gaura Nataraj. He is the greatest of dancers. And who can dance like this, dancing in such a way that his feet touched his head. Even Lord Shiva, who is Nataraj, there is a pastime where Lord Shiva was dancing and his earring fell down. And Lord Shiva took the earring from the floor. He could not stop his dance. So he made it a dance movement, and he took the earring from the floor and placed it on his ear. And that itself was a movement in the dance. So Lord Shiva took his feet up to his ear, who is the greatest dancer in this material world. He is called Nataraj. But Gaura Nataraj took his feet to above his head. And in this way, such special dance he performed. And imagine circling for 3 hours continuously. Nobody but the Supreme Lord can perform all these things. Text 180. Jokono je bhaval hoy, she adbhuta, nija namanande nache Jagannath Sutta. Whatever mood the Lord exhibited was most wonderful. The son of Jagannath Mishra danced in ecstasy of chanting his own holy names. There is this song by Sri Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya. It's called the Sachi Sutta Ashtakam. In that, there's a very beautiful paragraph. That whole song, it beautifully describes Gauranga Mahaprabhu's wonderful pastimes, his form, the way he dances, the way he preaches, and the way he's performing his different pastimes. It starts with Nava Gaura Varam. So in that, there's a beautiful paragraph, the last paragraph of the song. Arunam Nayanam Vasanam Vadanam Vadane Skhalitam Swakanamadharam. So the Lord's Arunam Nayanam, his eyes, his Nayanam, his dress, his Vasanam, and his Charanam, his lotus feet, the soles of his lotus feet, his eyes, and his dress. All these three are Arunam. They are of a complexion called Arunam, which is the complexion of the rising sun, reddish like the rising sun. So the Lord's eyes, his saffron cloth, and the soles of his lotus feet are resembling the color of the reddish rising sun. And Vadane Skhalitam Swakanamadharam. And in his mouth, he is chanting his own holy names. So that I was reminded of that verse when I read this verse. that how the Lord, he was chanting his own names. Madanes Khalitam Swakanamadharam. So this is the beauty of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's pastimes. Kurute Surasam Jagata Jivanam. And he awakens the whole Surasam. He awakens a very sweet nectar, a sweet mellow, and he gives life to the entire world by his wonderful, by his chanting of the holy names, by his performance of kirtan, and by his performance of dance, and by his performance of pastimes. He is nourishing the whole world. And I offer my obeisances unto Shachi Pranamami Sachi Sutta Gauravaram, unto that son of Sachi, Sri Gauranga Mahaprabhu. It's a very beautiful song, Nava Gauravaram. Text 181. Ghana Ghana Hunkaraya Sarva Anga Nade Na Pare Hoite Sthira Prithirite Pode. Sometimes he wrote so loudly that his entire body trembled. Unable to remain steady, he then fell to the ground. So, another reading of Hunkaraya is Huhunkara, which also means loud roar. So this is how Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu performed his dancing. And of course, this dancing still continues. I was told to read until verse 181. So this is where I would like to end for the day. So tomorrow onwards, you will also, as you continue, you will see how the Lord's dancing was and how the kirtan was. So I think by text 185, 186, Vrindavan Das Thakur's 40 verses of describing the Lord's beautiful dancing will get completed. And then you will relish more pastimes which happened in the house of Srivas Thakur. Sri Gauranga Mahaprabhu ki jai. Sri Srivas Thakur ki jai. So thank you so much for the opportunity to speak on this day.
Hari Bol Antaranga Tulasi Mataji. What a wonderful class. This is what I like in your class. You just give a glimpse from the starting to the verse of today, which you will be taking. And it was really very relishing, Mataji. So, and yes, you asked so many questions. And I got an answer for them from you itself. Thank you so much for making us to remind once again. So what is happening in this context? And yes, certainly the dance of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is really very wonderful when you were saying relating to Shachi Sutashtakam. And yes, in Golok, everyone is there who is waiting, and the Lord is there to embrace every one of us. So thank you so much for making us to remember. And that is what the icon of Bhakti Sangha also. If we see here, Krishna is embracing Gopakumar. So there is there in Bhakti Sangha group, the icon. So that's what we want to be. We also want to achieve, but we don't know. For myself, I'm saying I don't know when I will get it. So thank you so much, Mataji, for this so much very wonderful relation class. Hare Krishna. So with your permission, we will go on to the Q&A session now. Yes, Shukakara Krishna Prabhu, please go ahead. I saw even Golokeshwari Mataji also raising up her hands. So I think
Hare
after
Krishna. Anita Madhya, thank you for giving me a chance to talk. Antaranga Tulasi Madhya, after a long time to see you. You're so busy with Acharya class and all. I'm not able to attend most of the classes, little tied up. But you made it so relishing. You give a summarization of the past and the current. You are really a Shiromani in Chaitanya Bhagavata. So good. Fantastic. All the best. Take care. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much, Prabhuji. Yes, Mataji.
Hare Krishna Mataji, Danvat Pranam, Saklori Srishla Prabhupada. Thank you,
Hare
Mataji.
Krishna.
Yes, you came after a very long time. But thank you so much for your association, Mataji. Class was, as usual, very, very wonderful. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna.
Thank you,
Thank you,
Kirtita Sundari Mataji. Hari Bol. Mataji, yes, Golokeshwari Mataji is there. Yes, Mataji, please go ahead.
Hare Krishna, Antaranga Mataji. Thank you so much for such a wonderful class. And I'm just wondering, it's 11 o'clock there and you're still up. So it's not easy. So it's not easy, but I really appreciate. And it was nice, enlightening to hear Mahaprabhu's hands and feet, which is going all up and down. It's basically a different ecstasy when we hear about Mahaprabhu's pastime. I have one doubt, Mataji, when I have read Navadip Mahatmya, so there it was told that Nityananda Prabhu first met Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in Nandanacharya's house. So I thought that is the place that he went and resided. So it is basically that he was residing in Srivas Thakur's house, and that is the place it's a hideout. Like, can you just enlighten me in that, please?
Yes. Nandanacharya's house is always a hideout place. I also don't know why it is always a hideout place, but when Nityananda Prabhu came, he first hid himself in that place. He didn't reveal himself to anyone, and he was waiting for Mahaprabhu to come and find him. And after Mahaprabhu found him, and then he joined Mahaprabhu's Kirtan party. I mean, he joined all the devotees and he met all of them. Then Chaitanya Mahaprabhu told him to reside at the house of Srivas Thakur. And so since Nityananda Prabhu came to Navadvip, he always resided in the house of Srivas Thakur. That was his home.
Okay,
and
thank you so much.
At Nandanacharya's house, Mahaprabhu hid himself for some time. Advaitacharya also hid himself for some time. So Nandanacharya's house was the hideout in Navadvip. Devotees would go and hide there many times.
Okay, so I have one more question. So, what was Nandanacharya in his Krishna Leela, and what Leela he's come like? Can you just enlighten in that also?
There is one interesting point about Nandanacharya Prabhu. He had only one leg. He would limp, and but still he would always be in all of Mahaprabhu's pastimes. He would be in all the kirtan. He would even go to Puri with all the devotees. He was one of the wonderful devotees of Navadvipa. And he is also known as Nandan Acharya. He was Acharya. He was a great Brahmana, great teacher. And he was one of the cowherd boys in Krishna Leela. I think I can check that and I can later WhatsApp you. He was one of the cowherd friends of Krishna. And his house was in the Ishodyan part of Antarjit. The corner of Antarjit near Ganga, it's known as Ishodyan. The garden of his house was known as the garden of the Supreme Lord. Very special person indeed.
Yeah, Jai Ho. Maybe you can share some pastimes of Nandanacharya so that will be more enlightening.
I would like to read more about him and also speak.
Sure. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mataji.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Bol.
Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna. So Mataji, Vinita Mataji is there. After her, I will go for a question. So I also have some questions. Yes, Vinita Mataji, please go ahead.
Hare Krishna Mataji, Dhanavad Pranam, all glories to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you, Mataji, first of all, for coming on the call. You never say no for the service. Whenever I message you, you're always saying yes, yes, I will come. Thank you so much, Mataji, for coming, and very beautiful class. Thank you so much for bringing up a little bit of summary where we are and why this Kirtan coming up, why Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is doing this Kirtan. And you told that it's a Harivasara Ekadasi day, and today is Ekadasi for us in US. Half part of US is celebrating Ekadasi, not all of them. Yeah, thank you so much, Mataji, for such a beautiful class, and always you connect with many different things. You have also connected to the bhajan, Sachisutastakam. Very, very nice, Mataji. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Thank you so much, Mataji, for always giving me the opportunity.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much, Vinita Mataji. Yeah. So Mataji, I had the question like you were saying about Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is showing the form of Shiva, right? So he also showed the form of Ram. So can you explain in detail about that? Maybe I have missed.
Lord Shiva's form was in this particular chapter 8. It is, I can tell you the verse number. You've already done that past time. Yes, from text 98 onwards of chapter 8.
Okay.
there is this pastime of how Lord Vishwambhar, he immediately took the form of Shankar with matted locks of hair. And he was playing a horn and a damaru drum. And he said, please continue singing. And in this way, he manifested the form of Lord Shiva. So text 98 onwards till text 105. It describes.
Yeah, I think yes, Kirtida Mataji has covered, so I should go back and check on that link. So I'll see Mataji.
And Lord
Thank you so
Ram
much.
will come ahead, Mataji. In chapter
Sorry?
9, the next chapter 9, it discusses Mahaprakash Leela. And in that pastime, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu will show his form as Lord Ram
Okay.
to Murari Gupta. That comes in the next chapter.
Thank you so much, Mataji. Hare Krishna. So, any more questions or realizations, dear devotees?
In fact, Lord Ram's pastime comes, already it came once also. When Mahaprabhu was born, the moment he was born as Gaur Hari, there was one devotee. I think the Caitanya Bhagavat only explains this. There was one devotee in Madhudharma Dweep known as Sadananda Vipra. This is in Navadvip Dham Mahatmya.
Okay.
This devotee Sadananda Vipra, he is actually an incarnation and expansion of Guha, the tribal king who assisted Lord Ram in his exile. So that Guha, he appeared as Sadananda Vipra, a Brahmana named as Sadananda, in Madhudharma Dweep in Navadvip. And when Gaur Sundar appeared, the day he was born, this Brahmana felt great pleasure and he came to know that Jagannath Mishra's house, one son has born. And so he went to see the Lord. And when he went to see the Lord over there, everybody could see the golden form of the Lord, but Sadananda Vipra could see him in the greenish form of Lord Ram as a small baby. So since his birth itself, Mahaprabhu had shown the form of Lord Ram. That is there in Navadvip Dham. It's a very beautiful pastime.
Thank you so much, Mataji, for that information. Hare Krishna. Yeah. So I can say, Shivakar Prabhu, you have any more question? I see your hand raised still. Okay, I think you're keeping on blessing us.
No, I always see Antaranga Tulasi like this, born today only in Sharjah, and her name was Anjana. I told Radhika, and somehow she went to Mayapur. She was actually part of Radharani. All the best. You are a wonderful.
Really, your mercy.
You are going to become the best disciple of Radharani and devotee of Radharani. You will become a Manjari, Antaranga Manjari Devi Dasi.
Yes,
thank you so much, Prabhuji. So thank you so much, Mataji. I don't find any more questions or hand raise. So I think with your permission, we can end the call here. Thank you so much, Mataji, for coming on the call and giving us your valuable time and association, even if it is late for you. Thank you for that. And please come over frequently and give us this sweet pastimes of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And devotees, let's pay our obeisances to Mataji. Vancha kalpatra Jai Srila Prabhupada ki Jai.
Jai.
Tulasi Mataji ki
Hare
Jai.
Krishna Antaranga Mataji.
Yes.
Jai.
Mataji, if you can find about Nandanacharya and Gaurganosh Deepika, please let me know, because I was not able to find. But if you have any information about like who was he in Krishna Leela, whether he was a cowherd boy or not, if you can just text either Preeti Vilasni Mataji or Vinita Gandharvika Mataji.
Yes, Mataji.
Thank you. Thank you, Mataji. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Mataji.
Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Thank you.